should start by asking ourselves that from many indigenous cultures, Taoist culture in China, Hindu culture in India, Islamic culture, suddenly we moved to this scientific, materialistic, nothing else exists unless it can be measured.
Right.
This point of view. Where did we start to go wrong and why?
That's
you have
that's
explored the book,
that's
but can
a
you,
core,
in a
core
nutshell,
thing, right? Yeah.
if you could say, where did we start to go wrong?
Yeah, I know, and you know, before I even answer that question, I'd say one of the ways to answer that question is to, even maybe take it away from the going wrong, but rather how did we get into this trajectory that led us to that? Even because I think when we started to move in this trajectory, we didn't even feel wrong. But I think the real answer begins, I think, with the ancient Greeks. And that's what I kind of trace in some detail in the book. That what we see in ancient Greece, particularly with Plato, there were some thinkers before Plato, but Plato did this amazing job of crystallizing this core understanding of the universe that we often call dualism. And there's a particular meaning to this kind of dualism that Plato created. It was the sense that if you look at the cosmos as a whole, there's like some sort of perfect transcendent dimension out there. And he called it like the dimension of ideas. And the world is really this kind of polluted version of this world of ideas. So there could be this idea of it could be a chair or the idea of good or whatever the idea is. There's an abstraction that is perfect. And here in the world, we have these kind of imitations of that. So, and that's on the cosmos. But then he saw a parallel split in the human being between the soul and the body. He got this idea that the soul is this eternal part of humanity that connects with that sort of perfect realm of transcendence up there. And the body is also polluted. And so this kind of split in thinking led to a Western tradition of seeing the world as basically desacralized. Because then there's no sort of sacredness to the world if the sacredness is up there. And at the same time, it kind of deified this notion of reason. So you see in the Western thinking this sense that reason itself is what connects humans with transcendence and with God. And those ancient Greek ideas then developed into Christianity. When Christianity rolled through Europe, the early Christians were looking for some sort of way to make these other ideas more systematic, and they took these Greek ideas and kind of put that into Christianity. And what is so interesting is that then when oftentimes we look back to the scientific revolution as the source of these core metaphors of nature, as nature is a machine, or the idea of conquering nature. But what's so fascinating, and I only discovered this through researching these periods in my book, is that actually Christianity for many centuries served as an incubator for that scientific way of thinking. And almost all of these famous names that we associate with the scientific revolution, whether it's Galileo or Kepler, Newton, pretty much you name it, they saw themselves as fulfilling God's purpose. They saw themselves as really touching into the language of God. And to understand the universe using science was to understand God. And so they didn't see themselves as doing anything other than taking that same sort of dualistic sense and applying it to science.